Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So, I got a super fun and exciting episode for you guys today because I am playing a brand new ROM hack called Mario's Endless Nightmare. If you're wondering why it looks a little bit like Super Mario RPG, that is because it takes the bones of that game and turns it into a dungeon crawling roguelike. If you're wondering how the hell that works, I was wondering the same thing when I first was sent this link by a member of my Discord, but honestly, in practice it absolutely works perfectly and takes an incredibly fun game and makes something completely new out of it. And that's the type of ROM hack I absolutely love, where you take the bones of one game and reassemble them to create an entirely new skeleton with a ton of retro gaming meat on its bones. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. And just so you know, there's two different unique modes in this game. There's the main campaign as well as the Pit of 100 Nightmares, which is going to be 100 floors. If I could compare this to anything as far as how I see it is concerned, it kind of feels like a Disgaea game where you just go into the weapons dungeons and fight to try to power up your weapons. But outside of that comparison, you're going to have a lot of roguelike elements as well, being able to upgrade between floors and try to make the best run at this. And that is absolutely a really fun basis for making a ROM hack. The level of creativity of taking what amounts to an RPG game and turning it into a roguelike. On paper, again, it might make sense, but in execution, it is surprising that this thing isn't just a game Nintendo released back in the day, and it really makes me think that a Super Mario roguelike would be a fun game for Nintendo to make. But considering Nintendo has their most fun when they're suing people and not actually making games, not exactly something I expect to see anytime soon. And before you yell at me in the comments, yes, I do like Nintendo, I just like giving them crap every once in a while, so don't defend the billion-dollar company, you don't need to. I like their games. But as far as Mario's Endless Nightmare is concerned, this is something that you're going to sit down and think to yourself, I wonder how fun this could be, because it's removing out of the RPG elements and the story from something like Super Mario RPG. Just take it from me, give this a spin, give it a shot, and suddenly you'll realize you're on your third, fourth, fifth run through it, just trying to see the end of it and realizing that there is a hell of a lot of strategy involved in this. You have to understand every enemy's movements in combat, their weaknesses and their strengths, and you need to develop characters and get items and make choices in the game so that you're going to be able to do better. And learning that as you go along is going to be that fun. You'll see here, if you guess the Yoshi and where it is, you're going to get something right or wrong. You'll see there Yoshi was on the right, so unfortunately didn't get as much of a benefit as you possibly could. And I just love the isometric viewpoint of something like Super Mario RPG, and I think here in Mario's Endless Nightmare it super works for a roguelike. Just kind of seeing all of the enemies in front of you and engaging in that combat, it's just a very special look and something that I really think Nintendo and Square nailed back in the day, and this ROM hack takes super good advantage of. You'll see there, with one well-placed lightning bolt, every single enemy on the screen was cleared at once, and there was a frog coin acquired. You have to go through the items, you have to manage your inventory, and you have to make smart decisions. This is the type of game where if you play it well and understand what it's asking of you, you're going to become powerful and decimate the enemies in front of you. If you make the wrong choices with your power-ups or anything else, you're going to end up in a situation where you are way weaker than what you're facing, and you're going to basically have to make another run at the game. But that really is kind of how a roguelike works. You get to make those choices. You'll see here, you can sacrifice 10 coins for random equipment, and you got basic armor. Was that worth 10 coins? You'll have to play the game and decide for yourself when you want to make those choices. If you're sitting flush on a pile of coins like a loot dragon, you can totally burn them off on trying to get some new items, and if you're in a run and you just feel like you've made all the wrong choices, just go ahead and reset the game and you can start right over again. And that really is the fun part of a roguelike, the ability to re-roll that character, to just basically start from scratch and see how you're going to do the next time around. And that is a lot of fun here. Now that you get a level up, we're going to get a level up bonus, and that's going to be integral to actually trying to see how far you can get in this. And trust me, the 100th floor challenge, if you want to see the 100th floor, you're going to have to get pretty damn good at this game, and a little bit lucky as well, all along at the same time, because there's certain things that you're just not going to be able to control. Yes, you can buy an item for 10 coins, but you don't know what that item is going to be, so that's kind of your luck-based element here. But of course, it's Super Mario RPG, so it has a great soundtrack, 45 seconds, and I'll be right back with more. mean, you definitely can't go wrong with the music in this game whatsoever. It is iconic. Now, as far as a ROM hack like this is concerned, I understand how it's made technically, but I really like to think more about how it's made artistically. Making a game like this out of something like Super Mario RPG, at least in my head, is the equivalent of taking apart a Lego set and building something entirely new out of it just using the parts that you have in front of you. I have the big question mark Lego set where it unfolds all of the different worlds of Super Mario 64, and honestly, it's the one and only Lego set I've ever built. My wife bought it for me for my birthday like 3 years ago, and it was a ton of fun. But if I took that entire thing apart and made a world from The Legend of Zelda just out of the pieces that were in front of me, that's how something like Mario's Endless Nightmare feels. You disassemble what makes Super Mario RPG, and you rebuild it into a game that has the same parts but has a completely different vibe and feel to it. This is something, it's almost zen-like when you sit down and play it. You can kind of just pay attention to what's going on in front of you. You can make some decisions for yourself, but in between actual floors or whatever else you're playing, you can pick up your phone, read it for 5 minutes, respond to some messages, and the game is just going to wait for you, and that really is kind of fun. And this is the type of thing, if you are a commuter, you get in a train or something, and you go to work every single day, pop this on an emulation handheld and just play it and save your state. It'll be all the fun you need, nothing more and nothing less. But if you are a car commuter, definitely don't play it behind the wheel. Video Game Esoterica does not recommend playing video games and driving at the same time. I've never tried, but I'm pretty sure I know how it would turn out. But all jokes aside, this is such a simple idea that works so incredibly well, and if you like roguelike games, you're definitely going to enjoy this one. You leave me a comment down below and you tell me, do you play roguelikes and which one are your favorites? I would be curious because it is a genre I play around with now and then, but I have a friend, we'll call him Lance Charleston, and he plays them all the time. If you're wondering if you know the deep cut lore of the channel, I am not actually Lance Charleston, even if I am Lance Charleston, if you know what I mean. It's based off a friend of mine, but I'm the one that does the Lance Charleston stuff. Now, as far again as Mario's Endless Nightmare is concerned, this is definitely going to be something that if you don't like roguelites, I think can actually be kind of an introductory taste as to what exactly they are, because it's in a very fun franchise and it doesn't really have all that many systems to manage. Now don't get me wrong, those roguelikes with a ton of different systems and components can be a ton of fun, but it also feels like going into the deep end of the genre and having to figure out how to swim very quickly. Where something like Mario's Endless Nightmare, it eases you in, but trust me, it is not an easy experience whatsoever. The enemies are going to get a lot more powerful as the game goes on, and suddenly you're going to realize that you were basically one turn away from life or death trying to continue along the game, and that is just absolutely that kind of push-pull gameplay that roguelikes do so well. You feel like you're just powerful enough to have a chance, but not so powerful because you got one item that you're absolutely able to decimate the entire game in front of you, and inversely, you never feel so weak like you're at a disadvantage. It doesn't matter what you do, you're always going to get your ass handed to you. Mario's Endless Nightmare absolutely threads the needle between those two polars, where I feel like the gameplay kind of falls on its face, and absolutely just 10 out of 10 nails what a roguelike should be, at least in my opinion. But it's the second soundtrack sample time because I love the music in this game. 45 seconds and I'll be right back with just a little bit more. So yeah, Mario's Endless Nightmare, in my opinion, is a masterclass in how to take an existing game and make something completely new out of it. It's like a chef that sees a pile of ingredients in front of them, pun very much intended for the mushrooms on the screen, and realizes they can make a delicious meal out of those disparate parts, where most people just look at them and say, I don't know what to make, so I'm just going to order pizza. Don't get me wrong, I do love a good pizza, but Mrs. Esoterica and I cook almost constantly, and I can definitely do a lot of stuff in the kitchen, even if I can't make ROM hacks. But that's kind of how I look at these things. There are people out there that just see what other people can't, and somebody thought to themselves, you know what would be fun in Super Mario RPG, to actually make a roguelike out of it with a little bit of a dungeon crawler aesthetic, and it just 100% works. So if you want to check this one out, the link is in the description below to the ROM hack. You'll have to bring your own copy of something like Super Mario RPG that you definitely own to to the party. But otherwise, this is definitely worth your time and checking out, and I can't recommend it enough. And if you have played it already, leave me a comment down below and tell me your thoughts, because I would be curious. And if you've somehow never played Super Mario RPG before, definitely play that as well, because it's straight up one of the best 16-bit RPGs of all time, featuring characters with Nintendo in them. And honestly, that's not a very long list, but it's a fun way to say it. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.